Q3014. Which operation would be described as preventive maintenance? A. Replenishing hydraulic fluid. B. Repair of portions of skin sheets by making additional seams. C. Repair of landing gear brace struts. The correct answer is A. Preventive maintenance refers to tasks and procedures that are performed to prevent malfunction or deterioration of aircraft systems. Replenishing hydraulic fluid is an example of preventive maintenance because it involves the routine maintenance of a fluid system to ensure its proper functioning and prevent potential issues or failures. Replenishing hydraulic fluid helps maintain the required fluid levels and ensures the hydraulic system operates smoothly. It is considered a preventive maintenance task as it helps prevent potential problems that may arise from low fluid levels, such as loss of hydraulic pressure or reduced system performance. Repairing portions of skin sheets by making additional seams, option B, and repairing landing gear brace struts, option C, would typically be considered repair or maintenance tasks rather than preventive maintenance. These tasks involve addressing existing issues or damage rather than proactively preventing potential problems. 3183. If an alteration or repair substantially affects an aircraft's operation in flight, that aircraft must be test-flown by an appropriately rated pilot and approved for return to service prior to being operated. A. By any private pilot. B. With passengers aboard. C. For compensation or hire. The correct answer is B. According to the regulations, if an alteration or repair substantially affects an aircraft's operation in flight, the aircraft must be test-flown by an appropriately rated pilot and approved for return to service before it can be operated with passengers aboard. This requirement ensures that any modifications or repairs have been properly tested and verified to ensure the aircraft's safe operation. The purpose of the test flight is to assess the aircraft's performance, handling characteristics, and overall airworthiness after the alteration or repair. Once the test flight is successfully completed and the aircraft is approved for return to service, it can then be operated with passengers aboard. It's important to note that this requirement applies specifically to aircraft being operated with passengers. Private pilots may still be able to operate the aircraft without passengers aboard, but the approval for return to service is necessary before carrying passengers or operating the aircraft for compensation or hire. 3184. Before passengers can be carried in an aircraft that has been altered in a manner that may have appreciably changed its flight characteristics, it must be flight tested by an appropriately rated pilot who holds at least a commercial pilot certificate with an instrument rating. B. Private pilot certificate. C. Commercial pilot certificate and a mechanic certificate. The correct answer is B. According to the regulations, before passengers can be carried in an aircraft that has been altered in a manner that may have appreciably changed its flight characteristics, it must be flight tested. The flight testing must be conducted by an appropriately rated pilot who holds at least a private pilot certificate. The purpose of the flight test is to assess the aircraft's performance and flight characteristics after the alteration. By conducting the flight test, the pilot can ensure that the aircraft is safe to carry passengers and that any changes in its flight characteristics are properly understood and accounted for. It's important to note that a commercial pilot certificate with an instrument rating or a mechanic certificate is not specifically required for conducting the flight test in this case. However, the pilot conducting the flight test should have the necessary experience and qualifications to safely operate the aircraft and evaluate its performance after the alteration. 3189. An aircraft had a 100-hour inspection when the tachometer read 1,259.6. When is the next 100-hour inspection due? A. 1349. B. 1359. C. 1369. The correct answer is B. According to the regulations, a 100-hour inspection is required for certain aircraft after every 100 hours of operation. In this case, The aircraft had a 100-hour inspection when the tachometer read 1,259.6. Therefore, the next 100-hour inspection will be due after 100 more hours of operation. By adding 100 hours to the current tachometer reading of 1,259.6, we get 1,359.6. However, since the tachometer readings are typically rounded down to the nearest whole number for maintenance purposes, the next 100-hour inspection will be due when the tachometer reads 1359. 3190. A 100-hour inspection was due at 3,302.5 hours. The 100-hour inspection was actually done at 3,309.5 hours. When is the next 100-hour inspection due? A. 3312. B. 3402. C. 3395. The correct answer is B. According to the regulations, a 100-hour inspection is required for certain aircraft after every 100 hours of operation. In this case, the 100-hour inspection was due at 3,302.5 hours, but was actually performed at 3,309.5 hours. To determine when the next 100-hour inspection is due, we add 100 hours to the actual inspection time of 3,309.5 hours. This gives us a total of 3,409.5 hours. However, since the 100-hour inspections are typically rounded down to the nearest whole number for maintenance purposes, the next 100-hour inspection will be due at 3,402 hours.